Welcome to the Common Sensibility Podcast. We are here today with a special guest, Courtney Billen, who is our VP of Operations here at Red Crown Credit. Courtney, happy to have you.
Thanks.
So we're going to talk about something today that is very hot point topic, not only for Red Crown, but also the credit union industry, the banking industry, the financial industry, a lot of industries. That is fraud. And so, but I wanted to get a little background about you. So can you tell us who you are, what you do day to day, and just give us a little background?
Sure. So yeah, name's Courtney. I'm Vice President of Operations. I've been in the banking world for over 15 years. But operations here at Redcom, that's our member services, call center, tellers, and branch managers. So I basically help them help our members.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started. Fraud and scams are everywhere right now. And it feels like that it's getting worse. Is that actually true, or is it just feel that way?
I feel like it just feels that way, but fraud has always been an ever present issue faced by not only financial institutions, but everybody as well, all people. It's been around for a long time and it's unfortunately not going away. Fraudsters are always finding ways to use the newest and best technology to their advantage and always changing their approach.
Yeah, we see that quite a bit. It's not just us. Again, it's every institution. You can go on almost every institution's website. You will see, do not give out your 6-digit PIN code or your one-time passcode, or if someone calls you, hang up and call our number. So it's not going away anytime soon. But we are working hard to keep your money safe. That's our job. So let's move forward with some other things. What is the most surprising thing about fraud that most people don't realize until it's happened to them?
I think how quick and easy it all happens. So, one simple phone call that seems harmless can have disastrous results and could be as simple as you giving what seems like the smallest piece of information, like a text code, or you think you're doing something, a part of your daily life, like clicking on an email and you don't think anything of it. And then, days, months later, something bad happens. It all just seems that that's the most thing that I get when I hear from our members that are affected is I didn't think I did anything wrong. It all seemed so easy.
Yeah, I always tell members that I talk to, no one's trying to give you money. No one, people are not trying to find you to give you money or trying to find you to make your life easier. So if it's too good to be true, it more than likely is.
Yep.
So let's walk us through one or a couple of these. That's kind of a real one. Someone got a text, a call, something like that. Can you give us an example of some of those of how those happen?
Wow. Yeah. There's so many different scenarios. But the most common one right now is so you receive a text asking to verify if charge is valid. We all know that happens if you have a debit card, credit card. That's pretty normal. So you see it, you respond with a no. You'll then get a call from a number or a text asking you to call someone. So one or the other. You get on the phone with that person. They say that they're fraud watch. They'll walk you through the transaction during the conversation. They'll ask you for things and then they'll slip in and ask to get your online banking information, or they'll say, I sent you a code. Will you give me that code? And again, it all seems normal and just a part of the verification process. So you give that information. Conversation ends. You think you're good. You've protected your account. You've marked that charge as, no. But what's actually happening is that you've given information to a fraudster and they're on the back end, get into your online banking, getting your money, logging in, and stealing all of your money.
Yeah, we'll never ask for online banking credentials because we have them. We don't have your password, but we'll never ask.
Yeah, we don't need that.
We don't need that. We'll also, again, never ask for your 6-digit code or your one-time passcode. We have access to your online banking on the back end. We are not going to call you to get that information. Some other things that we've seen that are most common Our 3-day weekends, holiday weekends, that's when fraudsters really try to target members because they know that we're either not working that Friday or that Monday. And so you're not able to contact us because we don't have a 24/7 call center. So be very cautious on those weekends if you start getting calls targeted. You know, your money is going to be, we're going to do everything we can to protect your money. So either you'll send us a secure message, send us a secure message in online banking, send us a message on our website, and we'll get back to you when we get back in the office. So when it comes to impersonation scams, people pretend to be the bank, the IRS, something like that. How do those actually play out?
Well, there's multiple ways that a fraudster can impersonate a valid company. They can text you, call you with fake caller ID. Fake caller ID is very popular. Send you an email that looks legitimate. Most of the time, their goal is to cause urgency to make you act quick and act fast without thinking. So it could be they say you've got a compromised debit card, you've missed a payment, you're about to have a huge scheduled payment come out. The IRS, you owe a whole bunch of back taxes, and if you don't pay that, they're going to report you to the police. Uh, all unfortunately, they'll have little snippets of information because they can get it from deep dark down of the web. Um, and they'll use those, and then they'll inflate the story to get you scared, to either give information or, at worst, actually give them money in a certain manner that works for them, that's not traceable and not recoverable.
Well, a lot of times too is if you see a number that, if they're spoofing a number, I personally let even if I know that number, let's say like a friend, a close friend, I let a lot of those numbers go to voicemail. If they're a legit organization, they'll leave a voicemail. If they're not a legit organization, they're not going to. And so it's always important to make sure your voicemail is set up properly, that it's also emptied out. We get a lot of people that voicemail is full. And that's one good way to really protect your information.
Well, even with that, if they call and the number seems legitimate, again, they can fake that caller ID. So if you're unsure, hang up and call the number back. And either, but make sure if you're Googling that number, that you're not Googling a random number, you're going to the legitimate website. So you're going, like, for example, Red Crown, you go to our website, you find the number, call that number back, because if they can fake the caller ID, they can't fake the number. So that will always go back to the legitimate source. And then you can ask them and double check.
That's good information. So one of the things that we hear a lot about in this industry are played out scams, fake relationships, online investment scams where someone walks a person through something over weeks and weeks of time. I know we've seen that, but can you give some examples of some ones that are in your head that you can talk about?
Yeah. So the romance scams, the business scams, those have been the longest standing ones. So one can start where they want to help you start a business or invest. And it could have been you start talking to someone online, you create a relationship, a friendship, and maybe let them know, hey, I'm kind of struggling on money. They say, I want to help you start a business or invest. And they want to help you with your money troubles and give you money. And so it also could go towards they want to marry you or form an intimate relationship, or, they need help with your money to release their money, so that if you do that, they'll come stay with you or marry you, or, be friends. And some of these fraudsters will talk to you for months, maybe even longer than that. Some of them will even meet you physically just to form that relationship and make it seem real. They'll send you pictures, videos, even gifts. Once they feel that relationship's been formed, that's when they start asking you for other information. So online banking, your codes, they might ask you to apply for a credit card and give them the information to help them out. They might ask you to wire information to help pay their bills, or, pay their fees and taxes. They could even ask you to deposit checks to send money somewhere and then you get to keep a portion. Or after you send the first 4 checks worth of money, then you get to keep the rest. They could be asking for your hard earned money, your money itself, with the promise of getting even more money in return, like for an inheritance. So you have this inheritance that you didn't know about, you have to pay the taxes. Once you pay the taxes, you'll get millions of dollars. Let's say it's unclaimed money or even property in some other state that's in your name, but you have to pay an attorney for closing your taxes, and then they'll sell it for you and get money. All of those are ways for them to either try to get your money or fraud of fake checks through to then steal money and make you responsible.
Yeah, if you don't know the person, and that's the troubling part is that there's a lot of people out there that have good hearts and they have good intentions and they want to help people because these scammers are very manipulative. They tug on your heartstrings, they tug on your sympathy portion of you, and more than likely you are a good person. You want to do what's right for someone, but you also have to be very cautious. Think about like how did this relationship start? How did this interaction start? Is this really what's best in my best for you? Um, and so just be very cautious of those things because you could lose not only hundreds of dollars but tens of thousands of dollars,
Maybe even more.
and or more than that. And it's gone. Once it's gone, it's gone. So that's the other point is once that money's gone, it is gone. There is nothing that any institution can do to get that money back. So just be very cautious. So this is kind of a question about you hear, oh, those people, they don't know what they're doing. Oh, those people are they don't understand banking, things like that. So is there a type of person who gets targeted more, or is it honestly everyone at this point?
Honestly, it's anybody or everybody. Some people might be targeted more. I think it's everybody who's usually a part of a scam has to participate in some manner. So fraudsters will keep an eye out on, chat forums to see, or they'll try to send you a random text and see if you respond. Everyone though has to be extra aware because there's so many different avenues that these fraudsters will try to steal your money that anybody could be affected. You have to be aware in your emails. Don't answer phone calls that you don't know. Don't click on any links from text or emails. And always remember, like Jeremy said earlier, if it seems too good to be true, it most likely is.
Yeah, the one big one that I hear are people they'll get a text and maybe they're busy and it maybe startles them or scares them and they click a link on a text. That has now compromised your phone. So be very cautious of receiving texts because they're so easy. An email is a little bit different. You may not check it, but maybe once a day. Where a text, that phone's always in your hand.
Well, and you have to remember too, clicking on a link that, let's say you do it on a computer and you click on a link and it downloads something, and again you think it's pretty normal. Let's say the email said that it was documents for some company and you think, okay, I just need to do this. That could give access to a fraudster and they could sit in your computer and watch you for months. They can see where you're logging in, what your passwords are, and then they'll wait till the right time to go in and do whatever they need to do to steal your money. And I think that also goes into another. So we were talking about if it seems too good to be true, it most likely is. On the other side, you also have to remember that if someone is on the phone and they are scaring you half to death and making you so afraid and that you want to do something, that is also cause to stop and think, wait a second, this might not be real. Because that's the other side of it is they will scare you so bad and say, oh, they're going to call the police. You've been found on the dark web. Your social's been reported to crazy things, and they're going to report you to the police. And they'll even have you come up and get cash. They'll say you're in trouble. You're in trouble with your financial institution, and they're going to freeze all of your money if you don't come and get it right now and put it in a secure location. So they'll tell you, go up to your financial institution, Don't tell them, don't hang up, keep the phone in your purse, your back pocket. Tell them it's for a home remodel or to buy a car, and they'll have you withdraw the money and go put it in a quote unquote safe location. But it's really, they're getting you to send it through a Bitcoin machine, gift cards, and that money's gone. It's being sent to someone else. So by the end of it, you're thinking my money's been protected when in reality it's gone.
Yeah, when they use the term your information's on the dark web, more than likely all of our information's on the dark
Well,
web. There's been so many uh, compromised industries and businesses in the last 20-25 years. There's a website I look at least once a year. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I just Google the term. It's like fraud bubble website or something like that. And it'll show you all of the different compromised companies and how many people have been compromised. And you're going to different industries, not just financial industries, but retail industries, tech industries. These companies have been compromised year over year, and if your information is with those companies, more than likely something has been compromised. So just be cautious of that, and that's why it's always good. One of the things I tell people is it's always good to actually freeze your credits, freeze your credit.
yeah.
You can go to all three credit bureaus, and they have the ability. You create a user profile, and you can freeze your credit. What that does is, if someone gets your identity and they try to go get a loan, or they try to open up an account under your name, they can't, because they pull a credit and they'll say, hey, your credit's frozen, and they'll say, loan officer will say, can you unfreeze your credit? Well, guess what? They can't, because they don't have that access to that information. So that's one tidbit. If you take away anything from this, go freeze your credit at all three credit bureaus. And you can Google how to do that online. So we've got a few more minutes here. I'm gonna skip down. So someone's listening right now and they think something's happening to them. What should they do first?
Call us. Actually, call us or come in and tell us what's going on. Tell us the situation, and we're going to help you try to figure out if you are being scammed or not and what you need to do to help. The one thing that we always get is people don't call and tell us. They feel like they have to keep it a secret. And we are the best people. We see this all the time to understand what you're going through and whether you're in trouble or not. So always get a hold of us first.
Yeah, trust the people you trust. You open an account with us for a reason. You open an account with your financial advisor, or another bank, or another financial company. The person that's talking to you on the phone or through the web, you don't know them. So go call a number that you trust. Go to a branch or a business, your financial advisor, and talk to them. We're experts of this because we see it quite a bit. So that's one good thing that you can have in your back pocket. It's like, I know these people. And that's also one good reason to get to know your banker. Come in, and we're pretty friendly. We like talking to you all.
Yeah.
So come in and get to know us a little bit better, because we want to make sure your money's safe. And so that's just one good reason to stop in. Every so often, just say hi. So 2 more questions. Before something goes wrong, what are 2 or 3 things that you wish every member already had set up that we provide for security? What suggestions do you have for people with funds at other institutions?
Well, so watch your accounts. Use online banking. You should be checking your balances honestly daily, pretty often. Keeping track of your funds is so important. You can set up account alerts. We have alerts that go out daily. We also have live alerts on the debit card. So that's a great way to keep track of your funds as well. Another good thing to kind of keep your money a little bit more secure, if you have a larger amount of money in your account, put it in something that's locked down, like a CD. So it's not easily accessible, like if it was in a checking or savings. Those little small things can help with making sure that your information's protected. You can also set up passwords when you call in. And then again, our online banking has the code. So making sure that you never give that out is one of the most important things to keeping yourself safe.
So one of the things that Courtney says, we have what's called Card Hub, and it protects our debit cards. You can set up geofencing. You can set up areas of where you don't want the cards, types of merchants that you don't want a card to be spent. Some members will keep their card off all the time. I don't suggest that because systems can go down, and if you need to use your card, and your card's off and our system goes down, you can't turn it back on. You're not going to be happy. You're not going to be happy with us. But that is just how the world works. Systems do go down. That card on off feature is if you feel something's not right, turn that card off. So that's always important. So with that, that feature is in online banking on your desktop, but also in the mobile app. So I always suggest download the mobile app too, even if you don't like it, you don't like using or looking at the mobile app. It's good to have your banking at your fingertips if you carry your phone on you at all times. So that is important to always be aware of your money and be aware of what's going on. So finally, what will Red Crown never ask from you? If someone calls saying they're us, what is the one thing that tells you it is not us?
We will never ask you for your codes or your online banking password. We will also never call you and ask for account related information. You have to call us to be helped, and that is the only time we will verify you. Remember, fraudsters can fake that caller ID, so it can look like us, but if you're unsure, hang up and call us back. If our listeners remember anything from us, it's to never give up codes or logins. Don't click on links and don't give anybody access to your computer.
I think that is a good way to end this. Again, if you're listening to this and you know people that maybe are a little susceptible to fraud, forward this podcast to them and say, hey, listen, this is a small credit union in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they're trying to help prevent fraud not only for themselves, their members, but also other institutions around the area. We don't want to see that. We want these fraudsters to go away. So please share this if you can. Anything else, Courtney?
Everyone be safe.
Well, I think that's a good way to end it there. So, thank you all for listening to the podcast. We currently have 3 podcasts out. We're going to have a few more coming up. So go out there and enjoy your day.